Hey gals, it's Nola Brantley from Los Angeles, California. For 15 years, I was a leader in the nonprofit sector, and for the last 7 years, I've been providing training to professionals across disciplines with a huge emphasis on self-care. And that huge emphasis on self-care came from being a leader in the nonprofit sector. So today, I want to talk to you ladies about stress. Yes, stress. Part of the human experience. It's pretty impossible to be a human being and walk this planet without experiencing stress, because stress is certainly part of the human experience. And stress could even be good sometimes, in the sense that it often motivates us to get things done, puts a little fire under our feet. And even high stress from painful life situations is quite natural and normal part of our lives. And so stress, yes, is definitely part of our human experience. However, if we experience stress frequently and intensely, it can be a whole lot of strain on our body, and it can actually make it quite impossible for us to function. So while stress is part of the human experience, too much stress too often can make the human experience a very unpleasant thing. So stress affects a lot of our body and mind. Too much for us to talk about in this brief video, but to highlight a few areas that are impacted by stress, one would be headaches. You know, those nagging, sometimes really painful things. Headaches can be a result of stress, as can trouble sleeping. And not sleeping then can add to more stress, so that's a tricky one. We can experience pain in our jaw. We can have a change of appetite from what we normally are used to having. We may have frequent mood swings that are not in such good directions. We may also experience a lot of difficulty concentrating and really kind of all around feel super overwhelmed. And there are definitely times and situations that can increase our vulnerability to stress. So example would be not getting enough sleep or not getting enough proper nutrition. Both of those, not eating well or sleeping well, can make us much more vulnerable to stress, as can some events that may sometimes be out of our control, such as poor physical health, as well as experiencing a major life change. These type of things can also make us more vulnerable to stress. And so it's important for us to even be more aware when those type of things are going on in our life, that we are more vulnerable to stress, and we need to be doing even more things to create protection. Even though when things are more chaotic, it feels like we should be doing less things because we already may be feeling overwhelmed. When it comes to stress reduction techniques, we actually need to be doing more things. Really, really important. We want to have those layers to protect ourselves, not only from stress that's happening in the moment, but from stress that may come in the future. And there are lots of things we can do in our daily lives to really add those layers of protection from stress. And so first and foremost, our general self-care. The better we take care of ourselves overall, the better we're able to manage the stress, not if it comes, but when it comes. So really paying attention to our overall self-care is going to make us much better at managing stress in our lives. Also, getting aware and knowing what our stress triggers are and trying to avoid them if at all possible is going to be another technique in managing stress, as is changing our reaction to things, right? So sometimes slowing down and counting to 10 before we open our mouths. Other times, saying no and not overcommitting ourselves to things. So how we react and our behaviors can also be a big factor in stress management. And we should also laugh as often as possible, because laughter and laughing can be a wonderful protective factor when it comes to stress. So there are many things, as I said before, that we can do in our daily lives, and one of those would be exercise. Physical activity leads to better sleep, and better sleep leads to better stress management. As well, people who exercise generally feel less anxious and more positive about themselves. And the better we feel about ourselves, definitely the more or less stress, the less stress we experience, the better we feel about ourselves. And daily exercise naturally produces hormones that help to relieve stress. And so exercise and movement can be a wonderful thing. And it doesn't have to always be like we're going to the gym and working out. We can run, we could dance, we can swim, we can cycle, we could do aerobics, we can walk, we can take hikes. That's my personal favorite, is taking hikes. We can even do stuff like rock climbing. So, that daily exercise, it can look how we need it to look, but it does benefit us. Another daily practice to help manage stress would be having a healthy diet. So maintaining a healthy diet can lessen the effects of stress. It can increase our immune system and lower blood pressure. So healthy diet is important. And sometimes it's easier to maintain that when we're at home and harder when we're out and about in the world. But one quick tip is pack some healthy snacks so that when you're out and about, you can have your healthy snacks as your go-to instead of grabbing some of that junk. And try not to eat mindlessly, trying to eat with intention and really thinking about what we're putting in our body and how it's going to be helping us or hurting us. There have been a few nutrients that have been identified that really lessen the effects of stress. Vitamin C is one of them, as is magnesium, as well as omega-3 fatty acids. Those all have been proven to lessen the effects of stress. Another daily practice to lessen stress or to manage stress would be good old sleep. So one of the common side effects of stress is that sleeplessness, having those sleepless nights. However, this can really lead to a cycle of stress and sleeplessness. So when we are high stress and it's starting to impact our sleep, we want to implement those strategies that we know to help us get a better night rest, because we don't want to get on that cycle. It can be a quite miserable one. Another daily practice would be deep breathing. Practicing deep breathing turns on our body's natural ability to relax. So those deep breathing exercises are golden when it comes to stress reduction, especially when you need to reduce your stress right in the moment. That deep breathing can be almost like a magic wand. Another daily practice would be meditation. Meditation has been around for over 5,000 years, and there's reasons for it. Meditation actually works well for many people and addressing many health benefits, or many health conditions, and it has many health benefits. And one of those would be in reducing stress. So meditation is lovely for lots of things, including that reduction of stress. Another daily practice would be connecting with people. So spending time with family or friends who actually listen to you can help to reduce stress. The key word being listen to you, because spending some time with someone that you love who will listen to you is a natural way of calming ourselves down and reducing stress. Another daily practice would really be an important one, and that would be our inner voice. We have this voice inside our heads, right? And what this voice says to us has a huge impact on how we experience stress. So it's really important for us to work on those negative thoughts, to really try to notice those negative thoughts when they come up, not to judge ourselves, but to notice them and work on turning some of those negative thoughts into more positive thoughts. And you know what? If we're trying to do this and it's not going well, we can get a therapist to help us in doing this work, because it really is important work. So there's lots of ways we can work on managing stress in our daily lives. Stress is a natural part of life, but we do want to be aware and manage it so it doesn't begin to interrupt how we enjoy life or impact our body and mind in ways that we really do not want it to do. So pay attention to your stress levels and implement some of those stress reduction and management techniques. Stay well, gals.